When somebody's thinking about timing of investing, I guess you have to think about if somebody asked you in 1967, and there was 2 basketball leagues, an American Basketball Association and a National Basketball Association, and they said, would you like to buy a team? Would you like to buy into the league? Would you like to buy into the game of basketball itself, which you can't actually invest in 1967, in 1927, or certainly in 2017. So today, with eSports, not only can you invest in the team that may become huge in the future, you can invest in the game itself that will become huge in the future. So you can't sit on the fence and find those opportunities.
I think it's important to mention that the CSE is a great venue for these companies in eSports to enter the market, raise that growth capital, and improve their market thesis and their business models in real time in a real market, and see what works. I mean, we've got a whole bunch of stuff coming down the pipe in the capital markets here in Canada. We're going to see a lot of new listings in eSports on the CSE.
I think this is a really good time for people to take a look at eSports. If you kind of compare it to the cannabis craze that happened in the last couple of years, there's over $4.5 billion raised last year in cannabis. There's over 300 public companies now. If you look at eSports, there was only about $100 million raised last year in Canadian capital markets, and there's only about 13 public companies. So I think it's early days, and I think there are lots of learning still to be had, and that's why we hosted this event tonight with the CSE, so people could get up to speed on where the conversation is at in terms of investing capital and what deals are out there right now.
The timing right now is really opportunistic for investing in the esports space. If you looked at what happened for the cannabis industry 2 years or 3 years ago, it was emerging. There were lots of new deals coming in. People didn't really know exactly how it would play out, but cannabis has become so massive and so huge. Well, esports right now is where cannabis was 3 years ago. It's emerging. People are getting to know what it is. It's becoming more and more a common term now. 5-6 years ago, who was talking about cannabis use? Nobody. 3 years ago, who was talking about esports use? Nobody. So I would say if you're an investor looking to invest in gaming or esports, timing right now is critical. There's a lot of companies coming out right now that are going to go on a nice little curve, and you can come along for the ride.
My takeaway after today's event is there's huge interest. There are 500 people here today, which is massive. But I think we still all come away with a question mark around these revenue models and these business models, and how are people actually going to make a return on their investment when profits aren't really the main stage of the conversation yet. And so I think we're just all still learning, and we just have to keep going as a group collectively.